you look at it in hindsight, and you look at things that you've done well and the things that you could have done better, and it really is just it tips tip your hat to our head coach and the emphasis that he's made on it, and he has a plan for it every game, and that plan's going to vary. And we've been able to execute that at a high rate in all three phases.
How you doing, Brian Hoder, Beano Devil's Digest? I know that when you game plan for teams and it's way deep into the season, let alone the postseason, you probably have to balance how much time you spend on a game in week 3 or week 4 against an SEC opponent in this case, versus how much time you spend the game they had against Clemson in the first round of the playoffs. What is your approach? When you come to situations like this, and it's almost like this time of year, a team is not going to change what they're doing on either side of the ball. So it really doesn't matter if you're watching the very last game or a game from 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, the big thing is you look at and you see what style of offense that they run. You look at their personnel. You look at the play types that they run, and then you try to anticipate what they're going to do against you. What makes this offense so unique is they really don't, to the naked eye, they really don't run the same plays over and over. And even in games where you'll see some offenses and some coordinators that you go against, they'll have an explosive play, and they won't get back to that play for 3 or 2 or 3 or even 2 or 3 series or even 2 quarters. Whereas these guys will get back to the same play type, but they're not going to give it out of the same look. So it's really it's an NFL type mindset in terms of how the game is called and their approach to inventory of the plays that they want to play, that they want to call, and that they want to run against you. So it's almost like you always got to be one step ahead of them, and you got to literally anticipate what it could come out of. If a play hurts you, then you got to anticipate, how they're going to try to exploit, that weakness again, and it may not even be with the same play; it may be with something else. So, that's what makes these guys so unique and so. So effective.
Jordan Ham, Sports 360 AZ. This team has been really successful in the middle 8, and we've talked a lot about it this year from an offensive perspective. But on the defensive side, what are your priorities in that point in the game, and why has your defense been so successful at that time?
It's interesting. I mean, you look at it. You look at it in hindsight, and you look at things that you've done well and the things that you could have done better, and it really is just it tips tip your hat to our head coach and the emphasis that he's made on it, and he has a plan for it every game, and that plan's going to vary, and we've been able to execute that at a high rate in all three phases. So really for us on defense, it's about if we want to speed up the clock or if we want to slow down the clock. We have different ways of trying to do that and trying to use those situations and work them into our favor. But, it really comes down just the preparation and just working the plan all week leading up to game day.
Blake and then Michelle.
Hey, Brian. Blake Neiman, Sun Devil Source. With Texas's balanced style and the talent of weapons that they have, what makes their offense such a challenging one to play call against?
Man, I mean, starting with, their personnel, they do a great job of getting the ball in space. They're a ball in hand team. They're trying to get the ball into their playmakers' hands so they can make people miss tackles, break tackles, be able to use their speed in space. If you're a man team, they're trying to run by you. If you're a zone team, they're gonna check deep, even if you're in zone, to make sure your zones are solid. And they're gonna check the ball down and get their to their backs in space. The quarterback does a great job of understanding how to throw guys open, and also how to throw guys open even versus zone coverage, so it doesn't have to be man coverage. And to be a great quarterback at this level, you got to have a great offensive line, an offensive line that's going to protect. And they've seen a lot of 4-down fronts this year, and they've seen a lot of people that try to pressure them, and they haven't been able to get to the quarterback. And when quarterbacks are comfortable. And this guy's no different. When he's comfortable, he's a really effective and efficient guy. So, that's going to be our challenge, is to make him uncomfortable, either with pressure or perceived pressure or changing in coverage, changing looks, changing leverage, post snap from our pre snap looks. We're gonna try to do those things to get this guy to second guess where he's gonna throw the football.
Just a quick follow up. They've had quite a bit of success in their screen game. So can that, if they are successful in the area, can that make blitzing riskier?
Yeah, 100%. They have a rhyme or reason to everything they do. They have a couple of unique pass protections that really lend itself to saying, "Hey, listen, you want to be reckless with your with your front. We're going to take advantage of them." So, that's just something that our guys got to like. All 11 guys have to be coached up, and all 11 guys have to be fundamentally sound to play good defense against this offense. And even that being said, even when you're doing those things, they have the talent to be able to exploit you. So. Like I tell our guys all the time, I show them the call sheet every Saturday morning, and I show them, hey, listen, there's calls in this going to make you right, okay, but more often than not, you guys are going to make this thing right. So it doesn't change, and really trying to make it about us and less about Texas, and just doing what we do and remember what got us here.
Challenging.
Michelle Gardner, Arizona Republic. Coach, can you talk about Shamari not being there in the first half? And does it change the workload to try and get Montana maybe some more reps in practice, or do you not change things up because of that?
Yeah, you just change change what team Shamari is working with. So he's been working with their second group most of the week, and Montana's been working with our ones since the bowl game. So to be able to get him more reps, get him more up to speed on what we're doing at that position. But, our nickel position is one of our more, schematically, one of our simpler positions. And Montana actually brings some strengths to that position that maybe Shamari didn't possess, you know what I'm saying? And Shamari obviously brings his own strengths and savviness and grittiness and experience, whereas Montana's going to bring, he's that athlete, and, he's that guy that's one of our best athletes on our team. So, we think having him there, we're gonna be able to do some different things with him there.
Jake,
Hey, Coach, Jake Sloan, Devil's Digest. You guys have continued to force turnovers throughout the season with the possibility of Texas playing two different quarterbacks depending on how the game is going. How do you guys continue to put that pressure on whoever's taking snaps for them?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it goes down to, again, just talking about our fundamentals. The fundamentals of running to the football, doing your 111th, being consistently good, not occasionally great. It's not big play hunt. Attack the football. Ball disruptions are a big deal for us every day in practice, and we know that's one of the reasons we're here right now is our ability to get the ball back for our offense and put them in good field position so they can put points on the board. So we're going to continue to emphasize this. It doesn't change anything in terms of our mentality, but just the sense of urgency. It really becomes, when you're able to force takeaways, defenses don't get worse, they get better. And, I hope that we can continue to exploit that and continue to have confidence in getting after the football while we're executing, our assignments and doing our 111th.
Tyler Bolden, 12 News. Coach, are you a big believer in keeping receipts, or do you have enough internal motivation?
Wow. Yeah, that's a great question. I guess I'm not a vengeful person. I think I've grown past that in my old age, older age, not old age. But no, I just think, the fuel is always there, the fire is always there, and when that burns out in me, it's then it's time for me to go do something else. So no, it literally the passion to continue to get better, as a coach, and the preparation of preparing, not only the defense but our safeties room, our secondary, and add input to every other position to help make it better is just really what drives you as an individual. And it's funny you ask that question. I look back on all the years that I've coached, and whether you're coaching at a stage like this, in terms of the Peach Bowl, or you're coaching, small college or even or high school or whatever level, like your level of nerves and those things, it's not any different. Like, it really isn't. It's you don't think about how many people are watching or how many people are in the stands, and that's not what drives you. It's really about the guys that you're in the foxhole with and that you're working with every day, and the players that you're trying to impact and influence to help them be the very best. I mean, I say this all the time. I said to you guys before, like, our jobs as coaches, like our responsibility is to make sure that these guys are absolutely prepared each and every week, and we do everything in our power to make sure that they don't leave that game feeling like they were ill prepared or weren't prepared to be the very best. And that's our jobs as coaches. That's just the fundamental point of or emphasis of being a football coach. These guys have 4 years to be the very best, and to maybe get a shot to go play in the NFL and fulfill every one of our dreams. So I'm going to do everything I can every day to make sure that happens.
Hey, Coach Damon Allred, Arizona Sports. You touched on it a little bit already, but how much are you focused on Arch in this game plan, or is it fully focused on Quinn Ewers?
No, we're preparing for both, and we're preparing because they both have a different skill set. But the offense, is the offense, and they'll add a little wrinkles when Manning is in, and they do different things when Ewers is in. But it's basically it's all packaged together as the same. So we have a plan for both of them, and we're working that plan.
Coach, I know you said you don't really focus on the receipts too much. You want this team to just be as prepared as possible, and that's your job. But do you feel like this defensive unit has maybe been overlooked a little bit compared to maybe some of the more bigger names on offense like Sam and Scat and Jordan? I mean, like, it seems like you guys have, given up less than 25 points in 4 games in a row now, I think, and just kind of gotten it done kind of a lot quieter. But what's your thought on all that?
Yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, we're winning football games, you know what I mean? And I can see, like, if I had other people ask me those questions, but at the same time, like our guys feel like they're playing good football, and they feel like that, when we're clicking together and we're operating together, our guys are having a lot of fun out there, and that's what matters the most. And again, we're talking about attention outside the building. We're talking about what other people are saying. I mean, when these guys look in the mirror every morning, they look at themselves and they go, hey, am I getting better or am I not getting better? And what's cool about this group is really unaffected by twists and turns or whichever way the wind blows. I mean, I've never been around a group like this that it's able to respond to getting hit in the mouth like this group does. They come back, and they don't lose poise, they don't lose composure, they don't lose focus. And I'm just so proud of this group and the growth that they've had, and their embracing of our philosophy and our mission on defense is to be consistently good, not occasionally great, and to do your 1/11th on every play, and continue to grow as a player, and know what to do, how to do it, and why we're doing it. And listen, I think a lot of the attention, whichever way it goes, it's deserved. I mean, our offense has been outstanding this year, and they've made huge leaps and strides with, by and large, a lot of the same personnel with the exception of Sam. So credit to them and what they've done on that side of the ball. But at the end of the day, it really has been complimentary football. You know what I mean? And it's been, hey, when the defense needs to step up and make a play, we've made those plays, and when the offense needs to step up and make a play, they've made the plays. And it's just been an incredible team effort, and that's really all that matters. Is that where we're at right now? And I couldn't say that any stronger. I really do feel that way.
Blake, Shane, and Jordan.
Brian, what has Zach Swanson been able to bring to this defensive line unit?
Yeah, a lot of energy. He's been able to bring anywhere from 15 to 20 snaps a game of impactful snaps. He's been good at impacting the quarterback. He's been really good against the run. He needs to continue to grow in terms of the fundamentals and using his hands and keeping his head out of contact and doing some of those things. But he's a guy that just gets better and better and better. And when we get him fully healthy too, when we get his body right, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But whenever he gets reps right now, he's been an impactful player, and he's done everything that we ask him to do. And we couldn't be happier him being part of our program.
Obviously, Coach, a ton of new eyes on you guys this week. What do you want somebody that has never watched Arizona State's defense to come out of that game after watching it?
Just want him to know that I want him to think, wow, those guys play really hard. They're really aggressive. They play really physical, and they're sound.
Jordan, and then Doug.
Brian, every defense wants to be able to respond, and when they get punched in the mouth. But how has this team been able to do that? Whether it's leadership or whatever it may be?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of a bunch of things. I think it's the leadership in our locker room. I think it speaks to the unselfishness of this group. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are sharing reps that with a lot of other guys, and like our D line, we rotate a lot of guys to keep those guys fresh. But we've been able to stay healthy on the defensive line, so there's been a rhyme and a reason to it. Rather than guys getting too many reps and getting broke down, being in a physical position up front, we've been able to rotate guys in at specific times and be able to play more situationally with a lot of those guys. Linebackers have been no different. We don't have the depth of the numbers in the secondary that we have it in our front seven, but we've just had a really unselfish group. So everybody really, when they get an opportunity to go in, they want to make an impact on the game, and they know doing their job and doing their 111th and knowing what to do, why they're doing it is really why these guys have been able to respond. I mean, when we need to give corrections on the sideline, these guys are dialed in. There's no losing their cool or starting looking at the scoreboard. I mean, these guys have been able to respond, and whatever adjustments that we need to make on defense, these guys have been lockstep in being able to execute those adjustments. So a lot of these games, and it comes down to the coordinator that really does a better job of self-scouting and coming up with an initial game plan, and then there's the adjustment. Okay, now is the game back in order, or is it out of hand, where now that adjustment can be countered with another adjustment? So that chess match, and really as a coordinator, you want to know whatever call you make, it's going to be executed by all 11 guys. There's nothing worse than a coordinator feeling like whatever I call, nothing's working. And I've been there before. And a lot of times it's not working because we're not executing it, or there's one or two breakdowns. And, we're always looking for dysfunction. And that's the one thing that this group is not done, is if we've had any bit of dysfunction in terms of not executing a call, we've been able to get into those adjustments and be able to and get back to executing. We've been a very functional unit all year, and every guy on our defense deserves credit for that.
Brian, I was just talking to some of your guys about Kenny and his ability to keep things loose, have fun, how that helps them at this time of year, and they said that you get to a point in a season where you start hearing the same message over and over again, or and they also pointed out that you guys have been playing some stressful football lately, and it just kind of helps keep people in a loose mindset. How rare is that quality in a head coach?
It's very rare. It's hard. I mean, I'm going to tell you this right now. I've worked for some guys every day. It's 4th and 1, and that doesn't help anything. And the thing that just a credit to our head coach is he first trusts in his coaches, and he trusts in his players. And I think we talk about just in our program, and he talks about habits. And really you can see that there is a focus on the process. It's not a focus on winning and losing. And I just think there's a lot of head coaches, like you get that head whistle around your neck, they lose sight of what really is important, and knowing that not everything's going to go perfect all the time, and not everything's going to go according to plan. And the best guys are the guys that are willing to say, hey, this is just part of it. And, you got to continue to move forward regardless. And sometimes some hills are going to be harder to climb than others, but there's going to be hills, and that's the thing about, our head coach is he's been able to, hey, let's stick to the process. Let's keep it about these kids. Let's keep it about these players, and keep it about development. Keep it about our systems on offense and defense. Moving forward, and that's the thing I appreciate about him the most is, he has a very high standard, but it's not too high a standard than not to recognize there's going to be some mountains and valleys to make it. To make it through. So it's been fun. I think our kids recognize that. Our older guys recognize that, and our younger guys see it, and they model how our older guys respond to adversity. And it's really building what we want to build here.
Texas is going to be arguably one of the most physical and athletic teams from an offensive standpoint that you guys have faced. What methods are you preaching for this defense to use to combat that athleticism and size?
I mean, you can't change what you do. You know what I mean? Like, this is we got 13 weeks in of playing good football, and you learn as much from your failures as you do your successes. So we got to line up, and guys got to think about winning their one-on-one. And it's really going to come down to the guy they line up against, and either they're going to be better than that guy in that, any given play, and really just honing in on just we got to focus on being as fundamentally sound and communication and coverage adjustment and pressure adjustment and all those adjustments sound as possible, and make sure that everybody's on the same page. And if everybody can be on the same page, then we can just let the rest take care of itself. And if we focus on the process and we make it about us, we feel like we're gonna do what we've been doing all year.
What was your first impression of Javen Robinson when you were recruiting him, and how have you seen him grow to where he is now?
Yeah, great athlete, super competitive, great speed. Just a guy that need to put on some weight, and he's a guy that has done that, and very, very savvy, knows the defense inside and out. High football IQ, high processor, and he's a guy that went through a little bit of a lull in the middle of the season too, and he's another great example of an older guy just learning how to respond. So I'm excited about Javen and his progress, and his confidence is always going to be through the roof. He has a short memory, and he brings a lot of energy every day. And two things you can guarantee is that he's going to play fast. He's always going to have a smile on his face.
Oh, one more for Blake.
Several members of the defense have already announced that they're going to be returning next season. How reassuring is that for you to know that guys who already know the system and have been successful in the system can help the new pieces also make that transition process even easier and further build upon what you guys have already laid down?
Yeah, I mean, it's really good. It'll be a different situation we ran into last year. We didn't have many returners off of last year's defense coming back, but we at least had some solid pieces. But for me, we're not going to ever get comfortable, and we're never ever going to make those guys feel comfortable, and that's going to be a challenge we got to overcome once we get through this playoff run, and literally it's going to start the day it ends. So these guys are going to come back, but we're not going to make it comfortable for them, and we're going to try to bring the best out of them each and every day.